Have you ever felt that sudden tightness in your chest when someone says, "I'm coming over"? You smile. You say, "Yeah, sure, come by." But inside, your brain quietly whispers, "There goes my peace." If you know that feeling, you're definitely not the only one. And the strange part is this: many of the people who feel this way actually like the person visiting. So why does the idea of someone entering your home feel heavy? For some people, hosting feels exciting. Conversation, laughter, energy filling the room. But for others, home serves a completely different purpose. Home is the place where the nervous system finally powers down. It's the one environment where you don't have to perform, where the shoulders drop, where the breathing slows, where no one expects anything from you. And when someone walks through that door, even someone you care about, something subtle changes. The atmosphere shifts. The silence disappears. The sense of complete control over your environment suddenly becomes shared. Psychologists sometimes describe this feeling as territorial comfort. Your home isn't just a physical space. It's an emotional regulation system. The lighting, the sounds, the objects around you, the routines you follow, all of those details quietly signal safety to your brain. So when a guest arrives, it's not that something bad happens. It's more like someone dropping a pebble into a still pond. The water is still safe, but the ripples change everything. Another reason this reaction happens has to do with social energy. Many people spend their day managing subtle social expectations. Being polite, reading the room, responding appropriately, holding conversations, maintaining emotional awareness. Even when it's enjoyable, it still requires effort. Home is where that effort stops. It's the one place where you don't have to be on. But when a guest arrives, the social system switches back on automatically. You become aware again of conversation, of hospitality, of whether the other person is comfortable. And that quiet effort begins draining energy in the background. Not dramatically, just steadily, like a phone battery slowly dropping while apps run behind the screen. Here is something people rarely say out loud. Some of the kindest, most thoughtful people feel an enormous sense of relief the moment the door closes after a guest leaves. Not because they dislike the visit, but because silence returns. And for them, silence feels like oxygen. This doesn't mean they're antisocial. In fact, many people who feel this way care deeply about others. They simply maintain strong emotional boundaries around the spaces that help them reset. For them, home isn't a social stage. It's a recovery zone. That's why many people with this personality pattern prefer meeting friends somewhere neutral. A cafe, a park, a walk outside, public spaces where social interaction happens naturally. Then everyone returns to their own environments afterward. The relationship stays strong, but their inner space remains protected. For some people, this sensitivity also traces back to earlier experiences. Growing up in homes where visitors meant stress, extra pressure, conflict, or constant expectations. Over time, the brain may associate guests with disruption rather than relaxation. Even years later, that nervous system pattern can remain. So when someone says they're coming over, the body reacts before the mind even processes why. But there's an important point here. Wanting to protect your space is not a flaw. It's a form of self-awareness. You can care about people deeply and still value solitude. You can enjoy connection and still protect the environment that keeps you balanced. Because for many people, the deepest form of comfort isn't a crowded room. It's something much simpler. A quiet space, a familiar chair, a cup of tea, and the gentle rhythm of their own thoughts. And if that hits something you've never been able to explain out loud, stay close to this kind of thinking. Because once you understand how your mind protects its space, you start seeing patterns in yourself and others that most people completely miss.